Assalamu alaikum. This is Muhammad Hasibur Rahman. My ID is 20212135. Our group name is Rough Riders, and our motto is the road to success is never a smooth path. That is why we are Rough Riders. Our presentation topic is how to face an interview board. I will be describing what is an interview and the history of interview. Now, what is an interview? An interview is a procedure designed to obtain information from a person through oral responses to oral inquiries. An interview is the way to face-to-face conversational between the interviewer and the interviewee, where the interviewer seeks replies from the interviewee for choosing a potential human resource. According to Gary Dessler, an interview is a selection procedure designed to predict future job performance on the basis of applicants' oral responses to oral inquiries. The interview is the most critical component of the entire selection process. It serves as the primary means to collect additional information on an applicant. It serves as the basis for assessing on applicants' job-related knowledge, skills, and benefits. It is designed to decide if an individual should be interviewed, further hired, or eliminated from the consideration. Now, I will be describing what is the history of interview. It is hard to imagine how and why the job interview became the normal way to get a job. Exactly when did the job interview become standard practice? It wasn't truly until the 1920s that there was enough college-educated individuals entering the workforce that employees started to realize they could be a bit more selective. But the man who invented the modern job interview is probably a name familiar to you. That is Thomas Edison. As the story goes, Edison would get hundreds of applicants wherever he was seeking to add someone to his workforce. However, Edison was genius and became increasingly frustrated that the graduates who met with him seeking employment always seemed to lack knowledge compared to his own. Edison created a test for all prospective employees in form of a series of questions of general knowledge. Some of these questions related direct to the position that the applicant was seeking, while others were more esoteric and related to topics such as world geography or literature. It is unlikely that more than about 7% of all applicants could pass Edison's test. Newspaper of the day picked up the story, and other captains of industry, perhaps were wanting to emulate Edison, began using employment questionnaires of their own. The rest, as they say, is history. Over time, the winnowing process of applicants have evolved into the system of hiring that we have today. So, Thomas Edison conducted the first interview in 1921. Thank you. That is my part. Now I would like to invite Mr. Ragib Banik to continue the presentation. Thank you.
Hello sir, thank you for being here today. Myself Razib Banik, my student ID is 20212092. Thank you Hasibur Rahman to share something about interview. Now I'm going to share something about types of interview. There are several types of interview. One is unstructured interview, then structured interview, then situational interview, behavioral interview, job related interview, stressed interview, panel interview, which is called as board interview, one-to-one interview, mass interview, and online interview. Now I'm going to share something about the brief of interview types. First one is unstructured interview. There is in unstructured interview, basically there is no set format, so that interviewer can ask different types of questions and various directions. An unstructured interview is an interview where probing open-ended questions are asked. It involves a procedure where different questions may be asked for different applicants. Now come to the structured interview. In structured interview, interviewer has a list of questions and answer as well, and may even rate and possible answer for appropriateness. An interview consisting of a series of job-related questions that are asked consistently of each applicant for a particular job is known as structured interview. A structured interview typically contains 4 types. First one is situational questions, job knowledge questions, job sample simulation questions, worker requirement questions. Now come to the third point, situational interview. In situational interview, you can ask candidate what his or her behavior would be in given situation. Candidates are interviewed about what actions they would take in various job related situations. Situational interview can interviews to describe how they would react to hypothetical situation today or tomorrow. Now come to the behavioral interview. In behavioral interview, you ask applicant to describe how they reacted to the actual situation in the past. Candidates are also asked what actions they have taken in prior job situation that are similar to in this situation. The interview are then scored using a scoring guide conducted by the job expert. Then come to the fifth point, job-related interview. In job-related interview, the interview asks applicant questions about past job-related experiences. It is a series of job-related questions that focus on relevant past job-related experiences. Stress interview. 6th point is stress interview. In stress interview, the interview seeks to make the applicant uncomfortable with occasionally rude questions. The aim is supposedly to spot sensitive applicant and those with low and high stress tolerance. Stress interviews may help unearth hypersensitive applicant who might overreact to mild criticism with anger and abuse. It intentionally creates anxiety to determine how an applicant will react to stress on the job. Now come to the 7th point, panel interview, which is called board interview as well, is an interview conducted by a team of interviewers who together interview each candidate and then combine their rating into final score. Here one candidate is interviewed by several representatives of the firm. This technique entitles the job candidate giving oral response to job related questions asked by a panel of interviewers. Each member of the panel then rate each interview on such dimension as a work history, motivation, creative thinking and presentation level. That's all my part. Now I'm handing over to Ms. Ismotara Shimu.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Ismotara Shimu. My ID is 202-12072. My presentation topics is types of interview. Now I discuss some types of interview. First of all, one-on interview. One-on interview, that is the simple and easy interview. And this interview, one interviewer needs one applicant. For example, a interviewer first of all interview the production manager, then interview the general manager, and lastly the HR manager. And second one is mesh interview. Mesh interview, that is the group interview or panel interview. This interview discuss mainly the leadership of candidate. And last one is online interview. Online interview, this interview is most common and popular interview in this situation. This interview reduce the candidate time and money. And this interview, there are different type of channel maintained. for example Google Meet, Zoom, etc. And now I discuss the preparation of before interview. First point of preparation before interview: research the company. First of all, before entering any interview, I research the specific company biodata, and this is easy to solve your interview question about the company. And second one is analyze the job position, and analyze the job position, that is most important part. Before you attend any interview, you must analyze the specific job requirement of specific company. And third one is research the company product and competitor. Research the company product, that means which types of product they produce, which types of service they are provide, that's all. And that is non-technical part, but that is maintain or understanding is most important. And last one is analysis the description point. Description part, that means that is a job guide, and job guide or the and description part, that is depend on employees qualities, education, and background of the employees in effective or ideal candidate choose. Thank you. I invite my next partner.
Thanks, Honorable Teacher. Thanks, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I am Sanbir Khan. I am the student of EMBA Program. My ID is 2021-2088. Again, thanks, Honorable Teacher, to give me a sense about my presentation. My presentation topic is research the role. It is important to read the job description carefully and make sure that you understand all the requirements and responsibilities that go along with it. This will not only prepare the target question about positioning during the interview. Next point is research the company culture. Modern companies usually have social media accounts and blogs that discuss their company culture and industry. This information can give an interperson and tone the responsibility of the company. Next point is review the resume or other paper. Interviewer can ask some question from review the resume, so it is necessary to review mark a strong point of CV and other paper that interview instruct to bring interview board. Next point is rehearsing the interview. Rehearsing is one of the best way to prepare for a job interview. A mock interview with a professional is one way to learn practice interview skill as well as the online interview. Next point is practice interpersonal skill. Interpersonal skill are the behavior and practice person using interact with other effectively. In this business world, the term refers employee ability to work with the others. Before facing an interview, anyone must practice their interpersonal skill. Some interpersonal skill is communication, conflict management, leadership, listening, positive attitude, teamwork, problem solving, relationship management, creative thinking, customer service, etc. My last point is non-verbal communication tips for a job interview. It is the most important to behavior on body language and some steps before and during the interview. It is possibly control body and to make sure that right position in interview board. Thanks, Honorable Teacher. Thanks, everyone. I would like to invite my next group member, Hossain Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Hossain Ahmed Khan. My ID is 202111108. Now I would like to discuss some ways how to convince the interview. Okay, before facing the interview, a candidate must do some research about that organization and take some information such as their product line, their competitor, and the market position of that company. Then we know first impression is extremely important for a candidate because the failure and success of the interview will depend on a positive impression of that interviewer. So be punctual, take the opportunity to observe the work environment and keep your eyes and ears open. Be careful about your dress to impress. Choosing the right clothing is necessary. Everything from hair to toes will be clean and presentable. Listening is a powerful thing. So remember, do not interrupt while talking other person. Smile frequently, it make your confidence boost up. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my another group member, Mufti Akibur.
Thank you, Hossain Ahmed, for your presentation. This time, this is Mufti Akibur Rahman, and my ID is 202311101. Now, I'd like to present my presentation. Hossain Ahmed has already discussed about some ways to convince interview board. He has discussed about some several points on the basis of how to convince interview board, right? So this time I am going to discuss about how to convince interview board. I have discussed about several points also here. So I'd like to first discuss about physical message. We all know action speaks louder than words. So whenever we're going to face any interview board, we are becoming confused, stressed. So we need to be more confident here, right, guys? Second one is be specific our accomplishment, and thirdly, what we should say, keep our answer short, brief, and concise. We should answer them there shortly and concisely. We should avoid lengthy answer, right? So then the fourth point is prove that I'm curious about their job. So whenever I'm going to face any interview board, whenever you are going to face any interview board, you should show that you're curious about that job. Yes, you want that job, so you need to prove that, right? Then use the concrete and qualified data. Whenever you're going to say any data, that must be concreted and qualified. It's very much necessary there. So then the very important point is, whenever you are going to say anything, that means you can say that think before you speak. Yes, think before you speak. You should think that, because it provides you some time to communicate with them. And last one is, what kind of we say, yes, provide a specific example. Whenever you are going to provide any specific example in the interview board, it creates your innovationness, and it's also increased your productivity, right? So last one is another point. I can say that tell your specific achievement. Whenever you are going to discuss your specific achievement, it creates a value to the interview board. So we should do it in the interview board. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mufti Akibur Rahman, for giving me the floor to say something about how to face an interview board. This is Mr. Suman Reza, bearing ID 20212020. Actually, we can't explain how to face an interview by a single word or sentence, because we all know that facing an interview, it's one kind of oral communication. I mean, it's verbal communication. So as it is a verbal communication, so there is some characteristics and principles that we need to follow, some process and procedures before facing an interview. Interview can be different, organization to organization or subject to subject. So you need to prepare yourself according to the organization or according to the subject of the interview. So you have to learn about lots of things that interview may ask. You have to learn about the organizational mission, vision, organogram, etc. On the other hand, there is a chance to please the interviewer emotionally. So whereas there is no scope to please the reader or interviewer by written communication. So you need to try to please by emotionally. You need wear formal dress code, about lots of things that interview may ask. You have to learn about the organizational mission, vision, organogram, etc.
On the other hand, there is a chance to please the interviewer emotionally. So whereas there is no scope to please the reader or interviewer by written communication. So you have to you need to try to please by emotionally. You need wear formal dress code. You need to develop your hearing skills. You need to deliver the answer accordingly, precisely, to the point. You have to aware about the posture, gesture, your body language, or body language and pronunciation, okay, that make the interview effective. So you have to aware about these things. So lots of things we can discuss, but I would like to welcome to our next group member, Razib, Shahrear, Rochi. So this is all about from my side for the time being. Thank you all.
Hello, this is Ragib Shahrear. So at first I would like to apologize because I have to shoot this video by myself because I'm slightly sick and I'm in isolation, so there is no one actually to shoot this video, so I am videoing myself. So this is it. So let's move on to the presentation. Hey everyone, so now I will cover the part where we talk about things we should avoid in an interview situation or an interview board. So at first I would like to emphasize on the point that never be late on an interview board or interview situation, or never be in a rush or hurry when attend the interview. And another most important point is choose your dress up for an interview situation very carefully. Never be too casual, or never be dress up like you don't care about the interview. So dress up properly, dress up at least business casual, so that the interview board can understand that you are a responsible person. So then another point is, when you enter interview board, always ask for the entrance and always ask whether you are allowed to sit, or if they ask you to sit down, then sit down. Never enter and sit by yourself. So another point I would like to put emphasis on that whenever you attend an interview, never take with you some oversized things like oversized watch, oversized handbag, or any other accessories that look odd with you. Then we should talk about nervousness. Never be nervous, or don't let the interview board see your nervousness. And another thing I would like to put that whenever you dress up nicely, and don't always try to look over sharp and adjust your clothes all the time. So be comfortable and be yourself. And when you attend the interview, always avoid to use any buzzword or too casual words. Always remember that you are in a professional environment. Use professional language, professional words. And another thing, some people might do mistakes in the interview, that they pick up things from the interview situation or employer table, that pen or paper or something. Never do that unless you are asked for it, or the employer asks you to take the paper or take the pen or write something. And then people always do another mistake, that they talk about their personal problem or previous organization problems or their personal problems in the interview board. Never do that. Stick to your topic, stick to your interview questions, or unless you ask about it. When the employer asks about your previous organization, try to answer it properly. don't show too much casualness about your previous organization, or never show too much respect for the organization that you are interviewing for. So another point I would like to talk about is when you attend an interview, people tend to focus on their skill set over organization's current responsibilities or job. Don't do that. Prepare yourself or prepare your answers as per the job circular or the organization's industry or the organization's current business process, so that when the interviewer asks you the question, so you answer according to that. Don't just emphasis on your skill that you can do that or you can do that. It doesn't make sense if that doesn't need for that organization. So these are the things that you can avoid in an interview situation. So I'm sure you heard the previous part of this presentation and you have learned something, that what you should do and what you shouldn't do, how you prepare well for an interview. But at last, the most important thing is you will learn more and more when you give more interview. There is no perfect person for an interview. People will learn when they give more interview. So you should practice, you should attend more interview, and from those things, from those interviews, you will learn and you will be more sharper and sharper. So don't lose hope when you get a job from one interview. Take that as a lesson and prepare for your next interview. So that was our presentation. I would like to thank our honorable faculty Barisar for letting us work on this interesting topic. We enjoyed it and so much. We didn't get so much time, but whatever time we get, we enjoyed it. We tried our best to work on it. So that was all from my part and our presentation. Hope you like it. Thank you once again, everyone.